So placing your bolster on the mat, the same length as your spine, you can put the blanket at the top where the head's gonna go if you want a little extra support there for the neck. And then let your sit bones come right up against the bolster, but don't sit on it. And we'll bring the soles of the feet together into Baddha Konasana. If that's uncomfortable for your hips, you can opt out of that and just have the legs straight. Or you can place blocks underneath the knees for support. And then you're gonna let your spine soften down onto the bolster and just relax. So arms out wide, palms face up, shoulder blades tuck underneath you. And just take a few moments here to settle into this position. So just letting the body acclimate. If there is any tension there in the hips, trying to relax and soften any of the gripping you find. Letting the spine settle more deeply into the bolster, shoulders expand, palms are faced up. And just the rise and fall of the belly here, making that a smooth transition of diaphragmatic breathing. So as the belly swells, allowing room and space for breath to enter, as the abdomen contracts, just feeling a sense of stability, particularly in the area of the abdomen or core. Now, as you're breathing, just allow that ocean wave or whisper type sound, the ujjayi breath, to come in. Just that little gentle sound helps the mind to stay focused on the breath. And you can even think of the belly swelling like the rise of a wave, and the navel contracting towards the spine as that receding just before the belly swells again. And let that soothing sound really soothe the nervous system. So any residual nervousness, nervous energy, anticipation, or anxiety, just allowing that to melt here into the bolster as if it was just the earth. So in today's climate, I feel it's very easy to get caught up in the whirlwind and the spinning, that it almost feels like we're in the midst of a primordial sea and we're in this tiny little boat trying to ride the waves. And it's well known that these practices which link us to the abdomen give us that feeling of consistency and stability and anchoring within the self. So just a few more breaths here, and if you haven't already, we'll start to grow the breath from just belly breathing into now belly through ribs to chest, and exhale belly, then ribs, then chest. And the chest might not move as much because we have the bolster already opening it, but you'll feel a little increase of stretch there along the front side of the body. Remember to stay mindful of contracting the abdomen on exhalation. And at the completion of that last exhalation, just soften the breath and allow it to be natural. So no more shaping, no more control. Just relax all effort. And notice if there's been any shift in the mind or even in the body. As you bring your hands together in front of your heart, let your thumbs touch your sternum, bow your head to your hands. So really letting the mind bow to the authority of the heart and feel from the heart center this understanding that not only in the abdomen, but in the heart itself, we can find a sense of stability. That we often talk about the heart as being the seat of the soul. And that when our consciousness is rooted in that place, there is a greater sense of stability that's not linked to any external circumstance. Despite what's going on in your world, there is always a sense of who you are, why you're here. And so in your heart here, I want you just to place that intention for more stability, greater stability. And then press the thumbs into the heart just a little deeper. So it's like you're sealing that intention right here into the heart. And then we're going to bring the arms down by our sides, palms faced down. And on the inhale, you're going to just lift the arms up and over the head, stretching them out wide so that they clear the bolster. And then we're just going to bring them back down with the chant of Om. Palms facing down. Inhale again, arms reach overhead. And chanting Om as we bring the arms back down. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good, just release the blocks if you had them under your legs, pushing them over to the side. And we're just going to curl over onto our right side into fetal for a moment, arm under the head as a pillow, and just let the spine adjust, integrating that back bend, integrating still the vibration of the chant. And you can use your top arm to push the bolster out of the way so you can roll right back onto your back. And we're going to begin with some dynamic bridge. So feet flat, knees bent. Arms down by your side, maybe lightly touching the heels. And then on your inhalation, press equally into both feet. Roll up through your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Just come to your max, and then exhale and roll down again. So feeling each bone as it articulates into the earth, lengthening the tailbone towards the heels. Repeat that again. Roll up through the spine. And then exhale and roll down. One vertebrae at a time. Nice massage here as you come down. Good. Let's do the right arm now. Inhaling, pressing into both feet equally. Roll up through the spine. The right arm lifts up and over the head. And then contracting that abdomen as you come down. Really feel that stability as the arm follows the body, same rate. Good. Do that again on the left side now. Inhale, pressing into the feet. Arms reach up and over the head. And then exhale, contract the abdomen so you get that greater feeling of stability as the arm comes down at the same rate as the body. We're going to do both arms now, pressing equally into both feet. Inhale, both arms reach up and over the head. And again, really guiding from the navel, contract the abdomen as the arms follow at the same rate as the body. Good. Inhale, right arm again, press into the feet, reach up. And exhale, navel in, arm follows, coming all the way down. Press equally into both feet. Inhale, the left arm lifts. Roll up through the spine. Exhale and roll down. Last one here, we'll do both arms again. So press into both feet. Inhale, reach. And exhale, navel in, slowly come down. Good. At the completion of this, we'll bring both knees into the chest and just rock a little bit from side to side on the spine. Hug your right knee in, extend your left leg long to the floor. Pull that knee in as close as you can, really opening up through the hip. Opposite leg presses away. And now reach for the outside edge of the right foot. Sole of that foot faces the ceiling. Let the knee move down towards the armpit, extending through the left leg just a little bit more. Feel that inner groin beginning to open. Any tension that might be there in the hip, keep relaxing. And then without any strain, we're going to take the outside of the right foot into the crease of the left hip and thigh. And if you just have to hold that there, that's fine. Right hand's going to just gently push this right knee down. It doesn't have to be much. We're not that warm in the hip yet, but a little bit of a stretch in this position. And then we'll release and switch sides. Take the left knee in, extend the right leg long to the floor. So that left knee comes in as close as it can. Press the right foot away. Breathe deeply here. Now reaching for the outside of the left foot, let the sole of that foot face the ceiling. Knee moves down toward the armpit. Keep the right supporting leg firm. And again, we're going to get into that groin a little bit. So stretching there, weight of the arm, can do the stretching. You don't have to put any extra pressure down onto that foot. Deep breaths into the sensation. Let the exhale release it. And now the outside of your left foot goes into the crease of the right hip and thigh, and then gently push the left knee away. Again, it doesn't have to be crazy, so be gentle. No pain in the knee. A little sensation there maybe for the hip. And then we'll release that. One more time, knees into chest, and give that little bit of a rocking to the spine. And then hands are going to go underneath the knees, rolling all the way up to seated. So cross the legs, sit in Sukhasana, easy pose. Move the flesh from the sit bones. Inhale, the arms reach up. And then exhale, forward fold, and just melt through the legs. And let everything soften here. So head and neck is soft. Breathe deeply. Let gravity take the heart a little closer towards the earth. And then keep relaxing tension from the back of the neck so head gets nice and soft. Walk your hands to the right side, square your chest to your right thigh. Press your left sit bone down. Again, feel that anchoring and tap into both hips, being equally grounded into the earth. And then relax your shoulders, relax your head and neck, and once again, let gravity take you. Now move over to the left side, square to that left thigh, press the right sit bone down, and breathe here again. Notice if one side's tighter than the other, and just keep being patient with the body, getting a greater sense of equality, coming back into balance. And then come back to center. And we're just going to place our hands on our knees and do some circles here with the torso. So circling around, go back, concave the spine, come forward again. And as you circle, again, feel both hips rooted into the floor. So you've got your anchoring point. And then notice the work of the abdomen. Notice how the core is really that point of stability throughout the movement. There's a slight contraction there to help support the spine. Go in the other direction and reverse that circling. And notice that the more you do it, the more you can feel a release of any tension that might be held in certain areas of the hips or the rib cage or even the heart. So it's breaking up the rigidity at the same time, creating a greater relationship to that core. One more round. And then just sit tall for a moment. Sit in the stillness, the non-moving, non-doing, and enjoy that. Okay, let's come into tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet pressed firmly into the floor. We're going to take our elbows down to the mat and wrap our hands around the middle part of our arms to measure out. And then you can either interlace your fingers, press your forearms down, or spread your forearms wide and parallel. Either way, for dolphin, we're going to tuck the back toes under, lift the sit bones up and back, and come into this forearm down dog. So I really like this because it creates a feeling of stability in the shoulders because they're automatically stable from the position of the elbows. And if you want, you can bend one knee and press the other heel down and just open up the back of the legs a little bit. Just creating some flexibility there. But then I want to move into some dolphin push-ups. So we're going to walk our feet back about 2-3 inches. And as you exhale, you're going to take your chest over your forearms, tailbone under, lower belly lifts. And then inhale and lift the sit bones back up again. Exhale, navel in, come over those forearms. Inhale, reach the tailbone back up. So keep going with your pace. And again, concentration here on the abdomen. And that feeling of stability even within the midst of the movement. Legs are nice and strong. Just a few more. And then bring your knees to the floor, take your sit bones to your heels, and round the back into embryo. So back of the hands toward the heels, round the upper back. Let everything soften. And once again, feel the stillness. Good, arms reach forward. Come up into tabletop position, tuck the toes, and find downward facing dog. So it's very similar to that dolphin, and we'll find the alignment principles by having the feet hip distance apart, toes turned in slightly, heels out. Roll your inner thighs in and back and allow the sit bones to spread. In the upper body, roll the shoulder heads away from the ears, hug the inner elbows toward one another, and press firmly through the web of the index and thumb. Anchoring, rooting into the hands and feet, feel that the tailbone is lifting just a little bit higher. Heart is open and expansive. Head and neck is completely relaxed. Now filling the body with breath. Feel both the strength, the stability, and yet the movement of the breath inside the body. Keep contracting that abdomen on exhalation, letting that be the beginning point of the exhalation breath. One more. And then rise onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hands, and step forward to your fingertips. Open your feet hip distance apart and hang into standing forward fold. So we're going to slide our hands down the back of our legs a couple times, just from the glutes down to the heels. And then repeat that again. Go back up to the glutes and just continue to slide down. That downward flowing motion, anchoring us deeper into the feet. And once that has opened up a little more flexibility, you can then wrap your arms around the back of the legs and hug your chest to your thighs. So you want to feel the belly touching the legs. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to do that. And then notice where you're holding your weight in your feet. Make sure it's not too far in the heel, not too far in the ball of the foot, but balanced right between the two. And not too much pressure on the outer foot or inner foot, but balance between those two as well.
Head and neck is relaxed. You can imagine a weight attached to the crown of the head, just creating some traction here for the spine. Staying soft, relaxed. Keep breathing. And then we're going to move in and out of monkey dynamically, but we're going to do it with the hands on the backs of the thighs. So holding onto the back of the thighs, squeeze the elbows tight into your side. And as you inhale, come up just to halfway. Sliding the hands up the backs of the legs, squeeze the elbows behind you so the heart is open. And then exhale, take the navel in towards the spine, move back to forward fold, sliding the hands down towards the shins, calves rather. Do it again. Inhale, come up, squeeze the elbows in, flat back, head, torso, tailbone in a straight line. And then exhale, navel in, softening down, all the way relaxing. Good. Keep going, inhaling, exhaling. And notice, again, we're in the midst of movement, and yet the core is so essential to our feeling of stability here. Use that ujjayi breath, that ocean wave. 2 more. And we'll finish the last one. We'll come back up through that monkey variation, elbows squeezing into the side, flat back. And then we'll extend the arms, turn the palms up, root into the feet. Come the rest of the way up and extend the arms overhead. And just lengthen the side bodies here for a moment. In this position, we're just going to lean to the right. And as you lean to the right, press to the outside edge of the left foot. So still feeling that core stability. Outside opening up, moving with the breath. So you might lift on inhalation, might lower a little further on exhalation. Good. Come back through center. Palms stay together. And now just lean to your left. And it doesn't have to be super far. You just want to create some opening there along the lateral, right side of the body. Keep pushing into the outside of that right foot. Core is strong. Lower belly is pulling in and up. One more here. Moving with the breath. And then inhale, come back up and just slowly bring the arms down by your side. And then just rest for a minute. Close the eyes and feel anchored within the self. The stillness. Okay, we're going to do a dynamic variation of Sun Salutation B. So we'll be doing a lot of movement in it, but once again, that idea of in the midst of movement, staying connected to the core. So big toes touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart. So bend the knees, inhale the arms, reach chair, exhale forward fold over the legs. Inhale halfway to monkey pose, hands on shin or floor but flat back. And then exhale, step back to plank position. For the first round, we're going to modify. So bring your knees to the floor, squeeze the elbows tight into your side. Chaturanga, belly comes down, tops of the feet ground. Inhale, halfway up for cobra, low ribs on the floor, and then exhale, navel up and back for downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward to the fingertips and spin the back foot flat for warrior one. So heel to heel alignment, hips squared. Inhale as you rise up. Now we're going to modify here. So we're exhaling, opening up into warrior two. Shift the feet so the front heel now lines up with the arch of the back foot. Inhale, reverse warrior two, back hand to thigh. Turn and look at the right palm, opening up that lateral. And then exhale, right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the head for extended side angle. Inhale, bring your left hand down under your shoulder, pivot on the ball of the back foot, and reach the right arm up in the air for twist. And then exhale, step back to plank position. Again, lower knees to floor. Squeeze the elbows tight till the belly comes down. Tops of the feet ground. Inhale, halfway up for cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Left leg comes forward to the fingertips. Spin the back foot flat for warrior one. Heel to heel, hip squared. Inhale as you come up. Now exhale, open the hips to the side. Shift the feet, heel to arch alignment. Warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior two. Backhand to thigh, turn and look at the left palm. And then exhale, left forearm to thigh, right arm up and over the head. Now inhale, twisting. So right hand on the shoulder, pivot on the ball of the left foot, left arm reaches up. And then exhale, once again, stepping back to plank position. Chaturanga, knees to floor, squeezing tight. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to take 5 full breaths here in down dog. So as you're breathing, belly, ribs, chest, exhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Really concentrating on that contraction in the abdomen, even feeling perhaps the navel draw in and up under the rib cage on contraction. Keep reverting back to the stability in the navel center. One more breath. Now come onto the balls of the feet. Bend the knees, look at the hands, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale to monkey pose, flat back, hands on shin or floor. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, arms reach chair. Exhale, press up to standing and hands to heart. Let's do this again. Inhale, bend the knees, fingers beside the feet, arms reach chair. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose, flat back. And exhale, step back to plank position. Now this time, if you want to leave the knees lifted, squeeze the elbows tight, chaturanga. You're going to roll over the toes for upward facing dog instead of cobra. And exhale to downward facing dog. Right leg forward, spin the back foot flat for warrior one, heel to heel, hip squared, inhale, rise. Exhale, open up to warrior two, shift the feet, heel to arch. Hips are open to the side wall. Inhale, reverse warrior two, backhand to thigh, turn and look at the right palm. And exhale, side angle, right forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over the head. Inhale, pivot, left hand under the shoulder, right arm reaches. And exhale, plank position again. Knees lowered or lifted, your choice. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog, we'll do the left leg. All the way to the fingertips, spin the back foot flat. Inhale up for warrior one. And now open up to warrior two. Inhale, reverse warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, twisting lunge. Hand under the shoulder, pivot on the ball of the back foot, left arm lifts. And exhale, plank position again. Chaturanga your way. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. We'll take our 5 full breaths. Again, belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Contracting the abdomen, feeling that core stability. One more. And then come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, lift the hands, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Press into the feet, come up. Exhale, arms to the side. Good. One more. Fingertips beside the feet. Inhale, the arms reach chair. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. Inhale, monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank. Chaturanga your way. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog, right leg forward for warrior one. Inhale, hips squared as you come up. Exhale, warrior two, shift the feet. Inhale, reverse warrior two. And exhale, side angle. Inhale, twisting lunge. Pivot on the ball of the back foot. Right arm reaches. And exhale, plank position, chaturanga your way. Left leg forward for warrior one on this side. Inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, side angle. Inhale, twisting, high lunge. And exhale. One more time, plank position, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. 5 full breaths. Ujjayi breathing. Feeling that warmth move through the body with the breath. And at the completion of your exhalation, come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hands, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, halfway for monkey pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Press into the feet, come up. Exhale, heart. And now just be here, hands either at your heart or down by your side, and take a moment to feel the effects of the sun salutation B. So blood pumping through the body, all that movement, and yet there's a stability, there's an anchoring. Just like in the circulatory system, the heart itself is the foundation, and then all those branches, arteries and veins extending out from there. Return to their source at the heart. Good. One more breath, getting the breath to slow down again and return to that belly, ribs, chest, exhaling, belly, ribs, chest breathing. Okay. So if you have a block, it's helpful to place it between your inner thighs here for this variation of chair pose. And if you don't have a block, you can just keep the big toes touching, space between the heels and the legs together. Hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, sink into chair. So lower the shoulders, tailbone under, lower belly lifts. Now inhaling here, exhale, contract over the bent knees and just let the upper body soften over the legs. Then keep the knees bent. As you inhale, contract the back body to open up the front. Repeat that again. Exhale, contracting the belly, folding over the legs. Inhale, contracting the back body to open up the front. So as you move in and out here, keep squeezing your block. And notice this core stability. Again, what's allowing the movement to happen? That anchoring there in the abdomen, in the center of our body. So helpful to do this practice. We need both core and spinal strength. Two more. Now on the last one, we'll come up, root into the feet, rise up to standing, and exhale, arms down by your side. Keep squeezing your block, and just notice how rooted you feel. Good, we're gonna keep that sensation, but release the block from the legs. So still remember what it was like to engage them, and hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, and we're gonna step the left leg back for high lunge position. So fingers in a finger stand, front shin bone reaching away from the back heel. So it's very similar to like a runner's lunge here. So you wanna feel that we're opening up through the hips, and at the same time, we're not collapsing in the pelvic floor. So there's a little bit of a lift in the pelvic floor, a little buoyancy there. And then see if you can send your heart forward just a little further through your shoulders and lighten the load on your fingertips. Now, if you're comfortable, you can just stay here. If you want to challenge, try extending the arms out wide. Keep reaching the crown of the head away from the back heel. Again, feel that core stability. Neck is relaxed, so don't gather any tension there. Keep sending it out, down through the arms, through the fingertips. Good, one more here. Then release the fingertips to the floor, and we're going to swing the right leg all the way up in the air to a three-legged down dog. Open up the hip, and then we're going to square the hip and swing the leg back through to the fingertips. Now, from here, we're going to come up into high lunge again, but this time the arms are going to reach up over the head. Again, find that shin bone reaching away from the back heel, opening up the hips but not collapsing in the pelvic floor. We're going to move into a twist. So navel opening out to the left arm opens up, and just looking out over that left shoulder. So as much of the spine as you can twist here as possible, but we don't have any leverage. We're just using what we're capable of doing within the musculature. On the inhale, grow taller. Exhale, twist deeper, and keep relying on that core stability, knowing where your center is to give you that feeling of groundedness. Two more. And then just come back to center. High lunge again, fingertips to the floor. We're going to sweep that leg up, open up the hip, and just be here for a moment. Just feel that sweet, sweet release. Good. Swinging this leg here, squaring the hip, swinging the leg through again, but this time we're going to bring the knee down, top of the foot down for pigeon. Tuck the back toes under, lift the knee off the floor so the hips fall into place, then lower it down, top of the foot grounds. Fingertips beside the hips. Inhale, open the heart, and then exhale and come into pigeon pose. You can either be on the forearms if you'd like. You can place a block underneath your head, or you can let the whole upper body rest into the earth. If you need padding underneath your hip, take a blanket, stick it underneath there. But just get stable here. And let the breath come back to that belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Find that anchoring within the self. One more here, nice and still. Then hands back under the shoulders, tuck the back toes under, and extend the leg up again, opening up the hip. And we're going to bring it through one more time, and then this time we're coming into high lunge again. Plant the left hand down to the floor. You can rotate the outside of the right hip down, and then reach the right arm up for that gentler twist. Now work on opening the heart here. So on the inhale, extend through the arms. On the exhale, squeeze the navel in and rotate a little deeper to the right. Inhale, reach. Exhale, twist. Good, one more. And then release the hand down, step the left foot forward to meet the right, standing forward fold. Inhale the arms out wide as you lift and rise all the way up. And then exhale, hands down the center line to the heart. Find your core and notice the difference between the right side and the left. Good, inhale the arms, reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Now this time, step your right foot back. Coming into high lunge, fingers in a finger stand. Press the front shin bone away from the back heel. And squeeze the shoulder blades down the back to send the heart forward. Now again, you want to stretch into those hips, but you don't want to collapse in the pelvis. So a little bit of buoyancy, a little lift in the pelvic floor here. Gaze is steady. Squeeze the muscle in that back leg, so contracting the quad. Lighten the load on the fingertips. Or, if you're feeling comfortable, extend the arms out to the side. Breathing here, space in the back of the neck. Don't gather any tension there in the jaw, the face. Let the breath flow. Keep feeling anchored and stable in your core. One more. Now, fingertips to the floor. Again, we're going to sweep this left leg all the way up in the air and then open up the hips. So stacking left over right. Just getting all that space and length. And then we're going to come into it again. So swinging the left leg through to the fingertips, high lunge position. And now as you find your stability, squeeze those inner thighs, bring the arms up over the head for extending high lunge. And we're going to move into a twist again. So this time we're going to open our navel to the right, extend the arms out wide, and reach as much as you can through the crown of the head to create length in the vertebrae. And now exhale, navel in, rotate deeper to the right. And keep working your breath here. Inhale, taller. Exhale, rotate deeper. Two more. Good. We're going to unwind again, very gentle. Place the fingertips on the floor. Sweep the leg all the way up. Open up the hip. Just get that sweet release there for a moment. Let that warmth help create more space. And now square the hip again. We're going to swing the knee through to the left wrist, top of the foot down, and prepare for pigeon pose. So tuck the back toes under, straighten the leg for a minute, let the hips fall into place, and then lower the knee down top of the foot. Fingers into finger stand beside the hips. Open up the heart, inhaling here. And then exhale and walk it out. And again, you can just start on the forearms. You can place a block underneath the head if you'd like. If you need a blanket underneath the hip, place it underneath the one that's off the floor, or just let the whole upper body come down into the mat. Now just breathe. Belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling, belly, ribs, chest. Tap into that stability. Feeling anchored in the core. Good. 2 more breaths. And then hands are going to go back underneath the shoulders. We'll tuck the toes under and once again do that 3-legged dog. Opening up the hip. Feel all that space and length. And then we'll square the hip one more time, high lunge. One more time, and then fingers into finger stand to start. Take your left hand to the outside of the left thigh, rotate it down, and then lift the left arm up in the air. So again, feeling this rotation here. It's a little bit simpler than the one we did when we were standing, so really enjoy it. Inhaling, getting as tall and long as you can through the spine, and then exhale. Use the breath to twist deeper. Strong and straight back leg. And release that hand down, step the back foot forward this time, standing forward fold, and just melt over your legs. Everything softens, head and neck is relaxed. Use that warmth to go deeper into your posture. And then inhale the arms out wide, lift and rise as you press equally into both feet. Arms reach overhead, and then exhale, arms down by your side. And now we'll just rest in Samastiti. And again, just feel the effects of the practice. So what's changing? What's adjusting? What's getting more open? Maybe it was tight before. Maybe something's getting stronger that was a little loose before. Everything coming back to that center, the stability, the homeostasis. All right, we're going to do some balance postures because these are also really good for helping to work on that stability. So if you have a strap, you can use it. If you don't have a strap, we can modify. So we'll just place it over the shoulder, hands onto the hip, and then press into your left foot and reach your right knee up in the air. So just right there, just trying to find your balance, lifting that knee as high as you can. Option number 1 is just take the left hand to the outside of the right knee and then open the right arm up, rotating the navel to the right. Okay, option number 2 is to do that with the strap. Or you can hook the index middle thumb around the big toe. You're going to straighten the leg though. Left hand will stay on the strap or holding the toe outside of the foot, and then navel rotates to the right, right arm extends back behind you. No matter which position you're in, grow as tall as you can. So really press into that supporting leg, reach through the crown of your head, create as much room in the vertebrae as possible. And then squeeze and rotate the navel to the right. Find that core stability. Where's your center? Good, and then slowly unwind. If you had the strap, you can release it. Shake out both feet, give a little stretch there, and then find both feet on the floor and just for a minute, tap into that symmetry and stability. Okay, other side. Weight into the right foot, hands to hips. You're gonna lift the left knee up. Keep it nice and tall. Finding that core stability just in this position. So this might be enough for you if balance is really challenging. Or right hand to the outside of the knee, left arm opens up, navel rotates to the left, and just gaze at the sidewall. Or use your strap, wrap it around the foot. Right hand's gonna hold onto the strap as close to the foot as possible, and then left arm opens up, or you can reach for the outside of the foot or hook the index middle thumb around the big toes. Either way, grow tall, elongate, and then exhale, rotate. Core stability. Keep pulling that navel back on exhalation. Very nice. And then gently unwind. You can release the strap. Stretch out the feet. And then once again, find Samastiti. Now, hands to hips, we're going to do one more here. Doesn't require any strap. You can bend the right knee again and just stay with the knee lifted. Or if you'd like, challenge and extend the leg using your core stability here. Keep that leg lifted for 5 full breaths. Get steady gaze. And bring the knee back up, release, stabilize. Okay, other side. Hands to hip, lift the left knee as high as you can. You can just stay there or straighten the leg, 5 full breaths. Good, bring the knee back up, stabilize, and rest. Okay, so we're going to do that Agnisara prep, which is just a great way to create, again, that relationship to the abdomen and really feel that your own core stability. So feet are going to be about hip distance apart. Hands are going to come to mid-thigh. Arms are straight, so they're like kickstands that hold up the spine. It's one of those rare instances where the shoulders do come up slightly by the ears. So what we're going to do is like feel like you're going into cow pose, and you're going to inhale, breathe in, fill the chest this time, then the rib cage, then the belly. Tailbone lifts as you do that, just like when you're in cow pose. And then exhale, you're going to start from the feet, bring the energy up from the arches of the feet, through the legs, now through the pelvic floor. Navel contracts towards the back body, lifting up underneath the rib cage, squeezing out the rib cage, squeezing out the chest until the last second, then you breathe in again. So inhaling chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor, tailbone is lifted here. And now on the exhalation, bringing it up through the feet, through the legs, start to engage the pelvic floor, tailbone absorbs in, lower belly lifts, navel lifts under the rib cage squeezes together, chest releases, and then begin the inhale again. So this is a very personal practice, and it's really deep. So I want you to go with your breath count. Take your time, there's no rush. Use that Ujjayi breath if you need to really help keep the mind focused. Very slowly and with stability, we're stoking those internal flames. Good, 2 more. Feel some of that warmth being generated. Last one. Then inhale, chest, ribs, belly, pelvic floor, press into the feet, and come up slowly. So a lot of really deep internal work there. Notice how you feel. One more breath here. Okay, so we're going to do what is called a variation of nauli, and nauli means to churn. So we were talking about that earlier when we were doing that abdominal movement, that spinning, and the churning is helpful to release the undigested material in our system. So we're going to have to do it with a retention. And if retention is not comfortable for you, if you can't hold the breath out without feeling short of breath, then stick with the Agnisara prep we just did. And if you can hold the breath a little bit here, then we're going to do kind of a cheater version of nauli. So your hands are on the thighs again, arms are straight, just like you did a minute ago. When we do come up, we want to keep as much of a straight spine as possible. We're going to take a full inhale in again. This time we're going to let all the breath leave the body, out through the mouth. The more breath you get out, the easier it is. Now you don't breathe out, or don't breathe in rather. Straighten the arms, straighten the spine, and suck the navel deeply in and up underneath the rib cage. Now once you've got that suction in, push your right hip back, bending your left knee more deeply. And now press your left hip back and bend your right knee more deeply. And you can do that only as long as you can hold the breath out. So as soon as you need to breathe in, you're going to stop. But just going back and forth with the knees, kind of feeling that churning in the abdomen. And then when you need to take a breath, just come up and take a full inhale, full exhale. Okay, so let's try that again together. So full inhale in. Exhale all the breath out, hands on thighs, let it go. The more breath you get out through the mouth, the easier it's going to be. Now, straighten arms, straighten spine. Suck the navel deeply in and up under the rib cage, hollowing out the belly. You're holding the breath out, and you're going to bend one knee, straightening the other, pushing the hip back. Bend the opposite knee, straighten the other, push that hip back. And just keep going back and forth, feeling that separation, that churning inside the abdomen. Only as many times as you can without holding the breath too long that you feel strained. And then you're going to come up Take a full inhale, exhale, recovery breath. Okay, so 3 more like that. Again, remember you can just do the Agnisara prep if that's more comfortable. Good, 2 more. And 1 more full breath in. Exhale all the way out. Suck it up. And again, Samastiti, close the eyes. Take a moment to notice not only how internalized you are, but does that internalization create a feeling of stability? Okay, so we're going to make our way down to the floor, and we're going to give a couple options for inversion here. So hands together in front of the heart. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Flat back. Exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. Chaturanga your way, so knees lowered or lifted. Squeeze the elbows in. Inhale, cobra if the knees are down. Up dog if the knees are up. And exhale to downward facing dog. And then from down dog, we're going to take the knees wide. So down to the mats, nice and wide, toes in, and come into a wide child's pose. So really walk the hips back, arms forward, forehead to the mat. Now you can relax everything here. So once you get the length, relax the elbows, the shoulders, the head and neck. Just breathe. What we want to feel is that our prana, our energy is really settling. Now, I'd like to move towards headstand, so a couple options here. If you're not feeling any of that today, you can bring your hands underneath your shoulders, forehead into the mat, and then just do some small circles around the top of the forehead. So you're just giving a nice little massage here for the crown. You can go a little higher as you feel more comfortable. And this, you can go in one direction and then the other. Okay. Option number 2 is to walk the knees in, grab onto the back of the heels with the hands, and roll up onto the crown of the head for Sasangasana, rabbit pose. So right here is your variation. Very gentle, yet there's still some stimulation there for the crown. Option number 2, or I guess that would be 3, would be to come back into that dolphin. So you've got to measure the arms out, interlace the fingers, press the forearms down, and tuck your pinky finger underneath. Tuck your back toes under and come into dolphin. So this is prepping us for eventually moving into headstand. And if you're comfortable in dolphin, you can walk your feet in as close as possible so you get more of that inverted feeling. Or if you have the ability to bring the head down to the floor, you can keep walking the feet in and really be almost completely into a headstand. You can lift one leg if you'd like and then the other and play around there. Or you can come into headstand. So bringing the knees up, legs up over the head, press down through the forearms, legs extend straight up in the air. Okay, so you decide which one of those options you'd like. If you're in headstand, you need to be able to push down into the forearms to create as much space as possible in the shoulders so that there's not too much pressure on the head. Whatever one you're in, feel your core stability. Know where your center is. So even if the world gets flipped upside down, which many of us feel we're in right now, having that connection to the core helps us to navigate it. Just a few more breaths. And then to come down, if you're in headstand, you're going to gently bring one foot down, then the other, and go right into child's pose. Same for dolphin, but in dolphin, you may want to go into embryo, back of the hands toward the heels, rounding the upper back. But no matter which position you're in, you're just going to soften down here and take some time, once again, like we did before we got into the inversion, to really just let everything settle. Let the prana settle. And then hands under the shoulders, slowly come up, and we're going to go right onto our backs, and prepare for bridge. So just stretching the neck in the opposite direction, have your feet flat, knees bent. You can lightly touch your heels with your fingertips. Arms down by the side to start, press equally into both feet and roll up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. And then exhale and roll down. Take your time to lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. Again, inhale, roll up. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. Now, if you would like, on this next one, we can stay. So pushing into the feet, roll up through the spine. And now take one shoulder under you and then the other. Interlace your fingers into yoga mudra. And then press down through the upper arms. And now stay here with this flexion for the neck. So as much as the neck is in flexion, keep a little lift in the chin and equal pressure into both legs and feet. So contracting the back side of the body. Really hug it towards the front side of the body. Inhaling, exhaling in the abdomen. Two more. And then slowly release the shoulders, one vertebrae at a time. Come down onto your back. And then just widen your feet for a moment. Let the knees fall into one another and rest. You can place your hands on the abdomen to feel that connection to the core, all that we've been working with today. And we've got one more thing to take care of the neck, so we're going to roll onto our tummies and prepare for dynamic locust. So we'll start here first with Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Fingertips lined up with the tops of the shoulders, elbows pulling in, tops of the feet pressed down. So feel big toe and pinky toe anchored. Inhale, just lift your chest halfway up. Exhale, turn your cheek to one side and come down. So starting really simple here, inhale up, just halfway, low ribs stay on the floor. And exhale, turn your cheek to the other side. So really, as you're doing this, try to keep the hands light Use the strength of the back to lift. Use your breath. Good, and now this time we're going to come up, and as you lift the chest, lift the legs as well. Reach the arms over the head, and on your exhale, bend the elbows out wide, and see if you can deepen the back bend, lifting a little higher. Inhale, extend the arms forward. You might come down a little bit, that's okay. And then again, exhale, squeeze the elbows in towards your side, lift the back bend a little higher. Doesn't have to be much here, keep going. Inhaling, extend. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, extend. Exhale, squeeze. A couple more. And soften on your last one. Arms by your side, turn your cheek to one side, and then just completely let go. Breathe into the belly. Feel how that massages up against the earth. And now switch. Head to the other direction. Good, and hands under the shoulders. Once again, we're going to roll over, just coming right onto our backs. Bring the knees into the chest. Apanasana. Good. Hands on top of the knees. Inhale the knees away from you just to arm's distance. Exhale, contract the abdomen. Knees come back to chest. Inhale, knees away just to arm's distance. Exhale, knees to chest. Good. Keep going with your breath. Lighten the load on the hands so you're using more of your abdomen to do the work. One more. And now we're going to extend the legs straight up in the air. Soles of the feet face the ceiling. Now, if you have a strap still nearby and you want to use that to wrap that around your feet and hold onto the strap, you can do that. Or if you've got the flexibility, you're going to hook index, middle thumb around the big toe. The key with the holding onto the toes is we got to make sure that that tailbone doesn't lift all the way off the floor. So once you get a hold of the toes, draw the tailbone down away from the crown of the head. And then in your legs and feet, pull back on your pinky toe side of your foot. So a lot of times we have a tendency to collapse there. You can imagine you're up against a wall, the feet are perfectly flat. Breathe deeply here. So in many ways, this is like a forward fold. We have the support of the earth to really keep the spine straight. And then the shoulder heads can draw down into their sockets just a little bit more. And as they do, maybe a little more room in the back of the neck. Belly breathing here. If the legs start to soften, maybe you get more flexibility. You can bend the elbows a little bit, draw the legs a little closer, but again, mindful not to take that tailbone off the earth. Good, 2 more. And then open the legs out wide. Keep holding onto the toes, or if you had the strap, you can release the strap and just hold the outsides of the legs. Again, tailbone long to the floor, and see if you can even feel a slight lift in the lower back. So just an honoring there of that lumbar curve. And just like we began, we're going to bend both knees, grab the outsides of the feet now for full happy baby. Letting the knees anchor down toward the floor, arms are holding the outside edges of the feet, and they're just doing a little bit of the work by growing heavy. Staying fully relaxed, they provide some weight. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Push the elbows into the knees if they touch. and come into Baddha Konasana, Supta Baddha Konasana, bound angle here. And then gently release and prepare for Shavasana. Final relaxation, legs long to the floor. Feet a little wider than hip distance apart. Arms down by your side, palms face up. If you have socks or sweaters, you'd put those on to keep your body temperature warm, or a blanket over you if you need it. And then if you have an eye pillow, or if you're in a lighted room, some sort of piece of cloth that you can place over the eyes, just to help the mind just turn a little bit more inward. And then settling down fairly quickly. Once again, tap into that energy of stability. Despite all the movement, even through our practice, that core remains a constant. The heart, a constant. And so as you rest, set your mind, this time in the heart center, right in the seat of the soul. And just rest there. So very deeply bring the breath back into the body, all the way down to the pelvic floor. And then move the fingers and the toes. Start to enliven the body again. And you can roll wrists and ankles. Without rushing, just bring knees to chest. Give a little hug there, navel back. And then curl over onto your side. And once again, rest in fetal, arm under the head as a pillow. And you feel like you've acclimated to the moment. Press down through that supporting hand and come back up into a seated position. And if you'd like, prop your sit bones up for just a few moments of meditation. So tall spine, relaxed body. We're going to bring our attention into the abdomen again. Return to that belly breathing. And try to just isolate the breath in the abdomen where it's just diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling, belly swells, exhaling, belly contracts. So we're really keeping the awareness down. So I'm going to describe the practice and then we'll do it together. We're going to repeat a series of sounds that we're going to put some effort behind them. So very similar to like Kapalabhati breath, if you've ever done that breath of fire, that short, forceful exhale, except we're going to have sound on the exhale. And what we're going to say is Hari, 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 Ha. Okay? So as we do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Haris, and then on the 7th, it's the Ha. But you don't have to count that. You'll get the rhythm of it just by listening. And as we make that sound, we're snapping the diaphragm towards the back of the spine, which makes that Hari, more of an aspirate sound to the breath. Okay, we're going to do 7 rounds of that. Okay, so deep inhale in. Exhale about 3/4 of the breath and awareness in the diaphragm. Hari, 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 Ha. 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 Now just bring your attention into the diaphragm area and just observe sensation there. Awareness in the abdomen. Perhaps noticing an accumulation of prana in the form of light. And if you were to give this light color, we can give it the color gold. And to the best of your ability, focus your mind on that golden light in the abdomen, or just the sensation, and settle there. Notice that feeling of being anchored and stable. No matter what comes our way. So keeping that good feeling, bring your hands together in front of your heart, bow your head to your hands. And just go back to the intention that we set and trust that you received what you could receive. Let the rest go. And we'll end with the chant of Om one more time. Deep inhale in. Om.
Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. And in the description is a link to our Patreon account if you'd like to donate. Thank you so much for your support. Namaste.